Why women stop trying in a relationship, even when they still care. One of the most confusing things in relationships is when a woman slowly stops trying. But she still cares. She's still there. She still replies. She still talks to you. She still shows up in your life. But something feels different. At the beginning of the relationship, everything feels alive. She used to text you fast, ask questions about your day, show excitement talking to you, put effort into how she talks to you, try to impress you a little. There was energy. There was effort. There was interest. But over time, things start changing. She doesn't seem as excited anymore. She doesn't put in the same effort. She doesn't react the same way. She feels more calm or even distant sometimes. And this is where many men start panicking. They start thinking, did I do something wrong? Is she losing feelings? Is she talking to someone else? Is the relationship ending? But here's the truth most people don't understand. Sometimes a woman doesn't stop caring. She just stops putting in the same level of effort. And that usually happens because the emotional dynamics of the relationship have changed over time. Not always because something bad happened, but because the relationship moved from new energy to familiar energy. And that shift changes how people behave. So in this video, I'll break it down in a very simple way so you understand what is really going on. No confusión, no overthinking, just real-life reasons. 1. The trying phase naturally disappears over time. At the start of every relationship, there is something called the trying phase. This is when both people are putting in effort. She wants to impress you. You want to impress her. So both sides are active. For example, she replies quickly. She asks questions. She shows interest in small things. She puts energy into conversations. But once she feels like the relationship is stable, the pressure to try hard slowly disappears. Not because she hates you, but because she feels like we are already together now. I can relax. So her behavior changes. Let's make it real. At the beginning, she might double text you. She might send long messages. She might ask about everything. After some time, she still replies, but shorter, slower, more relaxed. Many men take this personally, but in many cases, it's not personal. It's just comfort replacing effort. 2. Comfort removes urgency in communication. When someone is new in your life, there is urgency. They want to reply fast, keep your attention, stay on your mind, not lose your interest. But once comfort enters, that urgency drops because now she feels he is already in my life. I don't need to rush. So she relaxes. Real life example. At the beginning, she replies in minutes. She sends emojis, jokes, energy. She keeps conversations going. Later, she replies when she is free. Sometimes slower, sometimes shorter messages. This doesn't always mean she is losing interest. It often means she feels safe and comfortable now. But comfort changes emotional energy. And that's where men start feeling the difference. 3. The relationship becomes normal to her. This is a very important point. Humans react strongly to new things. New people equals excitement. Familiar people equals comfort. At the start, everything feels new. Every conversation feels exciting. Every moment feels special. But after a while, the relationship becomes part of normal life. Conversations become routine. Nothing feels new anymore. And when something becomes normal, people naturally put in less emotional effort. For example, at first she might ask deep questions, be very curious about you, want to talk for hours. Later, she still cares, but she is no longer as curious every day. Conversations feel more regular. This is not always bad. It just means the emotional newness has reduced, and newness is a big part of emotional energy. 4. She stops performing in the relationship. At the start, most people perform a little. Not fake behavior, but effort behavior. She wants to look good in your eyes, sound interesting, keep your attention, show her best version. But once she feels secure, she stops performing. So she becomes more real, more relaxed. For example, she may not text with as much energy. She may not try to sound perfect. She may not ask as many questions. This can confuse men because they think she changed, but sometimes she didn't change. She just stopped trying to impress you. That's a big difference. 5. Emotional excitement slowly reduces if life becomes repetitive. Another big reason is repetition. When conversations and routines become the same every day, wake up, text, same topics, same flow, same energy, things start feeling predictable. And when things become predictable, emotional excitement naturally drops. Real-life example. At the start, every conversation feels interesting. You both laugh more. There's curiosity. After a while, conversations feel like routine check-ins. Less excitement, a less emotional energy. She still cares, but she is not emotionally stimulated the same way anymore. And when emotional stimulation drops, effort often drops too. 6. She may feel like she's doing more emotional work. Sometimes a woman starts feeling like she is initiating more. She is carrying conversations. She is putting more energy. Even if it's not fully true, her feeling matters. So she slowly pulls back a bit, not to punish you, but to balance her emotional energy. For example, she used to always start chats. Now she waits more. She used to send long messages. Now she sends shorter ones. This is often just emotional balance happening naturally. 7. She still cares, but her expression of care changes. This is very important. Many men think, if she cares, she should act the same way all the time. But people don't express care the same way forever. At the start, care looks like excitement, a fast replies, lots of effort. Later, care looks like consistency, calm presence, staying in the relationship, less emotional intensity. So she may still care deeply, but the way she shows it becomes calmer. And calm energy is often misunderstood as cold energy. 8. Men often make things worse by overreacting. When men notice change, they often panic. They start asking too many questions, seeking reassurance, overtexting, emotionally reacting. For example, are you okay? Why are you acting different? Did I do something wrong? This usually makes things feel heavier because emotional pressure doesn't fix attraction. It sometimes makes it worse. A better approach is stay calm, observe, don't panic, keep your own life stable. At the end of the day, relationships change naturally over time. The beginning stage is always different from the long-term stage. At the beginning, everything is exciting. Effort is high. Emotions are strong. Later, things become familiar. Energy becomes calmer. Effort becomes more natural. So when a woman stops trying, it doesn't always mean she stopped caring. It often means she feels comfortable. She feels safe. She is no longer in the excitement phase. But here is the important balance. A healthy relationship needs comfort, but it also needs emotional energy. Because if everything becomes too calm, too predictable, and too routine, the emotional spark slowly fades. So the goal is not to panic when things change. The goal is to understand what type of change it is. Because sometimes it is just comfort, sometimes it is routine, and sometimes it is real emotional distance. And knowing the difference helps you respond the right way instead of reacting emotionally. Because in relationships, it's not always about big problems. Most of the time, it's about small emotional changes that people don't notice early enough. Click the subscribe button, like, share, and follow for more.